Hey guys, today we're looking at continuing working with this idea of factoring some of these special products. And today, excuse me, we're going to look at perfect squares. So again, a refresher of these special product formulas. We're looking at these ones here. Okay, so these special products. And this was where, remember again, when we FOILed, right, we recognized that when we did this, right, our middle number was twice the first times the last, right? Again, what we're going to do today is take these and we're going to go backwards. So things we're looking for, all right? Can I rewrite my last number as something squared? Okay, and then is my middle term 2 times my first and my last? Okay, and really the only difference between the first one that's listed here and the second one, of course, is going to be just your sign, right? So if it's positive, those are positive. If it's negative, these are negative. So let's get right to an example. All right, so I have x squared minus 8x plus 16. Okay, so again, what we want to look for if we're going to be able to factor it using these methods is my last number, and can I rewrite this as something squared? And in this case, sure enough, I can. All right, now, all right, I need to look at, all right, what do I have here? Well, this is a 1x squared, right? Now, 1 times 4 would be 4, and then is my middle number twice that? Well, 4 times 2 is 8, so yes, this is going to work, meaning, and this is a step you won't have to write, okay, but I want to throw this in there for you anyway, right? If I can write my middle term as 2 times my first, right, which would be like 1x, right, and times my last term, which is 4, this fits. And sure enough, this would be minus 8x, okay? So what does this look like, right? This is going to look like x minus 4 times x minus 4, or I can write this as x minus 4 squared, okay? Let's go ahead and look at another one. All right, so 9x squared plus 60x plus 100. All right, so first things, can I rewrite my first term as something squared? Well, I could write this as 3x squared, okay? And the last term, I have 100. Well, I can rewrite that as 10 squared, okay? And now again, is it going to fit my special product? When I multiply these together and then times 2, do I get the middle? Well, 3x times 10 would be 30x times 2 is 60. All right, so this will work. So again, here's my stuff, right? 3x and 10, so that means it's 3x plus 10 times 3x plus 10. Or I could write it as 3x plus 10 squared. Either one is fine for today. Okay, another example. So right now, well, does this fit a squared method? And I can't write 18 as something squared, and I can't write 2 as something squared, but let's go back to kind of what we talked about the other day. You recognize, can I factor something out of all of these? And the answer, of course, is yes, right? I can take a 2 out of every one of these terms. So then I would have x squared minus 6x plus 9. All right, so now it's the stuff inside is just what I'm worried about factoring, okay? 9 I know I can rewrite as 3 squared, right? My front would be x squared. And now is my middle term 2 times this? It is, so that means I can factor this to x minus 3, x minus 3. Now, it's the only thing I still have to do. Notice I had a 2 out in front, right? I have to bring that down with me, okay? So 2 times x minus 3 squared is my answer. All right, one last example to look at here, and the difference here is now I have an equation, okay? And with all these that we've seen, we know the only difference when we have an equal sign is now instead of just factoring, we need to go that one additional step farther and solve it, meaning find the values that make this equal 0. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is set it equal to 0. So I'm going to add 64 to both sides. Okay. All right. Now I want to look. Do they all have anything in common? Well, I could take a 3 out of these, but not out of 64. So that doesn't work. I could take a 4 out of these, but not out of 9. So I can't factor it any farther. All right, so trying to factor it. Could we use our box method? Could we try and use trial and error? Absolutely, guys. Those will always work. But the whole purpose of this video was to try and look for some of those patterns. Meaning, can I rewrite the stuff in front as something squared? And I can. 3x squared is 9x squared. Okay. And hey, 64 I can write as 8 squared. Okay. 8 times 8 is 64. All right. Now, for a special product to work, if I multiply 3x times 8 and then double that, does that give me this term here? It does. Hey, this still fits my special product rule. So when I factor this, it's going to be my first. And then in this case, again, this is negative, so it's going to be minus my second for both of those. And now I'm trying to solve this. Do I have to solve them both if they're exactly the same? No. This is something that we call a repeated root. And we'll talk about this another day in another chapter. So for right now, since they're both the same, I just need to set one of them equal to 0. So to solve, I would add 8 to both sides. And then lastly, I would divide by 3. So x would equal 8/3 is my answer.